meeting for the applicant to have an opportunity to be heard at the July 21st meeting.
Have they been given any kind of notice?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
And do we have any more information on what has transpired in these incidents?
We do, but since that's pending litigation, it's confidential.
Okay.
Is that something that the chief could tell us on a one-on-one setting?
Do you know that?
I don't know if we have Doug online, Doug Fulton. Doug, our attorney, may be able to speak better to that.
So counsel, you can, your determination is whether or not to grant the license. If you think that a hearing should be held and an opportunity be given to the applicant to present any issues, that's within your purview. And it might even be a good idea just to get the facts out, but you do have the authority to simply make the decision that the applicant has conducted its business in a manner that is not in compliance with law and does not show good moral character. But you certainly could table it and then bring it back up in the July meeting for some kind of back and forth to make a determination whether or not those standards are met.
If I may, Doug, because it's pending legal matters, though, I think to the question that was asked, how much information could really be shared with counsel on those legal matters since they are pending?
Only what is public in the public. So if there are court filings, things like that, then those could be shared. If there are investigative matters that disclosure of those matters would compromise any ongoing criminal investigation, we have a right to keep those privileged. However, the council also has the right to acknowledge that a criminal investigation is ongoing, and that alone can be used as determination that the applicant is not worthy of renewal of their license based upon what's happening. In Des Moines, for instance, there have been bars that have been shut down simply because there's criminal activity around them. The number of police calls, fights outside, kind of thing. Even if a facility or an institution is not in keeping with the general character of the neighborhood, council can still make that determination. And remember, your determination is simply the initial determination. The applicant then has the right to go before the Alcohol Bureau to appeal that decision and have more of a full-blown hearing. So you're just making an initial determination. It does not rise to the level of beyond a reasonable doubt or any kind of legal standard like that. It's just your determination based upon the totality of the evidence or totality of the circumstances that you do not believe that this applicant is worthy of a liquor license.
Do we know how many times we've been called to this place of business?
Total calls, we do not have that information, but we do know of the 2 specific instances where it led to the pending criminal matters.
And were the situations the same in 2022 and 2025?
That kind of goes back to Doug's point about what's able to be shared. That's on public record. So I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable sharing that information because I don't know if it's for public notification.
So
Was it this,
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can we at least know if it was the same person? Like, we don't know this person's name. I mean,
Doug, is that information that can be shared?
I wouldn't share it at this point in time.
So, Mayor, if I may, if I'm off base here, I don't know, but it sounds like we're wanting more information. It's not public information, so then the best option, that's what everyone's wanting, is to table this, invite the applicant to come back and actually share their side of the story on the 21st and make a determination at that time. Does that sound about right?
It does from my perspective, but I think,
I don't think we can table it though, can we?
yeah, we can table
Yeah.
it
Table it until the 7th.
till the 7th
Yeah.
of July.
Well, the 7th, you'd have to set a hearing.
Is that hearing on?
Yeah, that's what I'm,
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I thought Doug said that we would have to deny it and then schedule the hearing. Was I wrong on that?
No.
no, I think it's table
You can table
tonight,
Okay.
hearing on the 7th.
What was staff's recommendation on this?
A little bit mixed. Fire department looked at it from their lens, and they did not find issues with the facility from their purview. Police department was recommended to deny it based on the criminal activity.
What's the pleasure, council? Somebody make a motion or motion to table? or-
Mayor, I've got a question.
Go ahead.
One of the questions I emailed Jake, what if we were to deny, do we know what our next steps are in terms of being able to enforce? Like, are we ready for that in the event that we do deny it, whether that's tonight or down the road?
Good question.
Doug Fulton, when we deny it, how does the state then immediately cancel their liquor license, or do they wait for that process to
I think
complete itself?
you can get a stay of that if you immediately file a notice of appeal.
So it'd be up to the applicant on,
Yes.
okay.
And my sense is if we make the decision to table this till the 7th and then set the date for a hearing on the 21st, they're gonna have to make some kind of an appeal even on that with their license expiring on the 7th, correct? Is that correct, Doug?
Yes. Jackie, does the license actually expire on the 7th?
Yes, their license expires on the 7th.
I would just go ahead and set a hearing now.
We can do that, we can set the hearing now for the 7th?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
If that's the route you want to take, you have a choice to deny.
I feel that's the best route for us to take personally. Maybe it's because I'm new, but I just don't feel, and I don't want this to sound like I'm second guessing our police department or the fire department, anybody like that. That isn't the message here. But not having anything to really rest upon other than misconduct of employees, which could be far-ranging in my opinion. I prefer if we set a hearing for the 7th and let them represent themselves to us before we take action. That's just my opinion, and
Is that a form of a motion?
sure, I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll, please. Unless there's discussion. Anybody want to discuss first?
I'm sorry, could you please call out what exactly the motion is first?
Yep. Go ahead, Jackie.
yep. The motion is to set a public hearing for July 7th. We'll notify the applicant that they can come and speak to this on the 7th.
Thank you very much.
Any other discussion?
No, I don't think that the police department would recommend denial if it didn't have good reason. It's in my neighborhood. I see the things that come and go from there every day. The things that happen, I've seen things with my own eyes that I can't believe I saw. So, I mean, personally, I would rather not. I would rather just deny it and let them go through the appeal process. But that's, if I'm by myself on that, I'm okay with that.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, Christina. I mean, if I were in your shoes, I might feel differently about it too. And like I said, I'm not questioning anybody's judgment other than the fact that when I read this and just misconduct can be a lot of things, and particularly since the litigation is still pending, I think we have less exposure if we let them at least come and be heard.
Yeah, I completely get
So that's where I'm coming at with this. I have complete confidence in our law enforcement people, but to me, I'm not making it about that when I make this.
Any other discussion?
And if there's anything that can be shared from staff, I know it's pending litigation, but if there's anything that can help us make a decision, if they can be
The
prepared to
public
share
record information, right?
anything that's public.
Iowa court. That's what I'll be doing.
Anyone else?
I just have trouble denying a business to do business without actually hearing some facts or some more information. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Anything else? Jack, you want to call the roll?
Councilmember Rabe,
Aye.
Dalby,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beach,
Nay.
Stones,
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-1. And if there's no further business, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
One of these days, I'm gonna say